Hello everyone, welcome to the channel update for August. I hope everyone's July went well. Let's go ahead and dive into what's going on in the channel right now. Before I do that, however, there's a very important announcement, so don't skip ahead. The day this goes live, August 1st, I will be joining Zerfall for his charity stream. Raising money for the MS Society of Canada, raising money for cures and treatments for multiple sclerosis. This is a very important issue to me because I had an aunt who passed away many years ago when I was very young from multiple sclerosis, and like I never got to know her when she was healthy. I only knew her from pretty advanced MS. And she's a very different person at that point because of all of what it does to you. So I will be joining Zerfall and a bunch of other people, Mysterious JG, Lethal Feline, Boba the Vulture, Grimmith, as we raise money to fight MS. Please do come and join us. I will be raiding into it right after Spelljammer. So if you're watching, if you're watching my Spelljammer, we'll just be going right into that. Zerfall will be starting at 2. I will be joining at 4. And I assume going until 2 a.m. A little bit different from last year when he started at 4, but, we're all getting older. So please, please, please do come on out. I will include a link in the description below. His channel is Zerfall on Twitch. I will, of course, like I said, include a link below. And if you can't make it but you do want to donate, I will include a link to his donor page. Already raised $900. There are incentives as well, like getting into Mysterious JG's yearly Let's Play, which I believe the Let's Play from last year may still be ongoing. So they tend to be a long game. But please do come out and cheer us on, even if you can't donate. Just being there and having a good time, and and if you know of other people who like this kind of stuff, we're going to be doing like Jackbox games, maybe multiplayer games. I don't even know. I'm just there for the ride, basically. Then please share the links. When we go live, share the links on, or repost posts from any of us on social media. Would be really, really great to get a lot of people out and supporting us and raising a lot of money for the MS Society of Canada. So that's my pitch there. Please come out later today, August 1st, and join us. So, back to your regularly scheduled update. The main thing that is going on the channel is I have started Final Fantasy VII Remake INTERmission. This was kind of a bonus story that came out a year after the original Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played it on the PlayStation 4 when it first came out. Unfortunately, like they wasn't just like hey, you get this, you have to buy it again. And so I eventually got it on PC. I think someone actually gifted it to me. The Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade was the whole package. And that was after the PlayStation 1-year lockout expired. But that's what you get on any other system at this point. But I hadn't played it yet, so I played through the whole game, the main game, to unlock the section, which just does function as basically a new game. And it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. That is going up on the weekends as basically just bonus LP right now. It should be pretty short. I don't know exactly how long it'll be, but 2 episodes every Saturday and every Sunday until I finish that. And that's in preparation for getting to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth pretty soon, because Final Fantasy VII Revelation is coming out next year, and I want to be ready to play that like the day it goes on sale. So I got to get through these other parts first. And I say it like that, but I mean, I'm enjoying it. I really like the way that they've set up the world in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Wasn't a big fan of the combat system, but that was mostly because I found certain enemies just absolute jerks. Like, the design of combat against certain enemies was not like combat against other enemies, and I didn't like that. Like, when the game is being a dick to you in combat, I find that kind of garbage. But against normal enemies, against bosses that don't have like a specific way that you have to defeat them kind of thing, or a specific thing that you have to do, I actually kind of enjoy the combat. Not really paying too much attention to what's going on, but I'm just button mashing and it's fun. Especially when you like switch over to Tifa. It's a lot of fun. And it like kind of actually set up an interesting conversation I had with someone else where like I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 a year or two ago and really enjoyed the story, hated the combat. And we're having a conversation with him. He hated the combat in Final Fantasy VII Remake and kind of likes the combat in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I always find it interesting how, you know, you'll have friends who will both like the same game, but like different things about them. So I find that interesting. The big thing for me is that like Xenoblade Chronicles requires you to do like sequential type stuff. You don't have to do that in Final Fantasy VII. Even against the dick enemies, it's mostly like, do you have the right element kind of thing, or they're hit point sponges, or intentionally take very little damage, or make it very hard to get the stagger on and do extra damage, that kind of thing. Or they stun lock you and you can't stun lock them, kind of thing. Those are the kind of things that I don't like. Luckily, it's not most of the enemies. It's some of the bosses, but anyway. So far, haven't had anything like that in Remake Intermission, which is good. But hopefully it'll stay that way. We'll see. It's a lot shorter than the main game. Probably be wrapping it up within the month is my guess, but I don't know. I'm not getting quite as many episodes out. I'm only getting 4 versus 7 for the other game, so it may take a little bit longer. But I do plan, as soon as that's done, I'm going to be working on getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth into the game queue as soon as possible, kind of thing. So that's that. So you can, if you're looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you got something good to look forward to. I strongly suspect Tales of Berseria Remastered is going to be wrapping up this month. Hard to say. It might go into just next month. I don't think so. It doesn't feel like I have much left, but I don't know. It's very hard to say. I've only seen someone play part of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, so I don't know how long it really goes for. Final Fantasy Tactics A2, Grimoire of the Rift. Yeah, that's not ending anytime soon. I'm glad people are really enjoying that. That's doing better than Tales of Berseria, which I kind of expected it to be the other way around. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying Final Fantasy Tactics A2, you got a lot ahead of you. I have a big backlog. I have a big backlog. It is very easy for me to record like 12 episodes in a sitting of that game. And sometimes the episodes go long, so it feels like a little bit more than 12 episodes even. Very, very easy for me to do that with that game. And it's a lot of fun. Probably one of the most fun games that I've played recently. So I hope you guys are really enjoying that and everything else. Over on streams, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined should be wrapping up real soon. Maybe even, I think we'll get to the end of the game, the end of the main game, on Monday with the next session. There's going to be post-game, so depending on how much of that I want to do, not too inclined on doing all of that unless it seems different than the original. The big thing about Final Fantasy VII Reimagined is that, like, I like everything that is straight up added. You know, voices, uh, richer environments and character art. Love that. The changes to the mechanics, do not like. Really don't like. The cutting out of portions of the story, don't like that either. And shifting things around and stuff like that. I don't like that. I do think that the game is more approachable for a modern gamer, but at the same time, it does not have the Dragon Quest difficulty, which isn't even like, I wouldn't even say it's that. The old games are that difficult. More like they have the design idea of the dungeons generally should be like grinding down your resources. They drain your resources. And then you get to the final, you get to the boss of that portion, and it's like, oh, do I have enough? Can I get through this? That's the kind, I like that kind of challenge. And the Reimagined does not have it. The original does. Reimagined does not have it. Most of the early Dragon Quests do. I haven't played 9 or 10, so I don't know when the changeover happened, but I feel like 8 is the last one that did that. And that's hugely disappointing. I enjoy the games despite, the games that have changed that, I enjoy them despite that change. I would much prefer to have the original difficulty. And there are some things that I might be able to set up in these to get there, but like I don't need less money and less XP. That's not what I'm talking about. And I can turn on, turn off, hit points and MP gains on level up. But part of the problem is like there are more abilities in Dragon Quest VII Reimagined than there were in the original. They do more damage. Enemies have more hit points. Everything is amped up. They cost more. I don't remember what the most expensive thing in Dragon Quest VII Original was, but it wasn't like 50 MP. I'm pretty sure. So, like, it's disappointing in that regard. If there is someone new to Dragon Quest, I do think Reimagined is going to be much more approachable than the original. Much, much, much more approachable than the original, which does look and feel outdated by modern standards, and Dragon Quest VII Reimagined does not. But I would prefer if we went back to the mechanics of the older games. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is kind of running on the same mechanics as 11. Which is kind of I don't know if that started with 11 or if it started in like 9 or 10 or something like that. But I want 8. Like I think 8 is the mechanic peak of Dragon Quest. The DS games are pretty high up there too, but I think 8 is the mechanic peak for Dragon Quest. Can't do anything about it. But it does bring up this other thing of, like, we have this engine for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. We have this engine for the HD 2D Dragon Quests. We have the engines for the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Make more games using those engines, It really does feel like, in a lot of ways, game companies these days feel like they have to make a new engine every time they make a new game. They can't just have an engine and be like, okay, we're going to make 4 games using this engine. They can be related either thematically or mechanically or something like that, but we're going to make them. And I look back at some of my favorite games. Like, in terms of Ultima, my top 5 Ultima games are Ultima 7, Ultima 6, Savage Empire, Martian Dreams, Ultima 7 Part 2, Serpent Isle. There's only 2 engines there, Like, one of the reasons why I like Savage Empire and Martian Dreams so much is because they use the Ultima 6 engine. I really wish we'd gotten the Ultima 7 Worlds of Ultima game, because I would love to have seen what that would do, because I love that engine. I find it a lot of fun. And then, going back to one of my other favorite game series, the Gold Box games, those games basically all have the same engine, little tweaks here and there, and then, of course, like, Dark Queen of Krynn, I think, gets a big revamp, but it's still basically the same engine. They might have, like, done some major overhaul to it kind of thing, but, that and Unlimited Adventures have the same engine. But, like, it's like they made this engine for Pool of Radiance, and then they're like, okay, make 10 more games. There are some pretty big differences between, like, the Forgotten Realms and the Krynn games on the mechanic side. Pretty big differences between all of those and the Buck Rogers games, but they're all still very obviously the same engine. Once you play one of them, once you're comfortable with that engine, you can pick up any of the others and zip through, like, the mechanical elements of those games real fast, and it all feels very familiar, and it's very fun. Maybe there's some people that don't like that. I know that one of the reasons why Square didn't release Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on the NES here in the US was because of this fear of, oh, it's just the same thing, which I think is stupid, but, and I would have thought it was stupid then. But I mean, I'm just one person. It's just anecdote. But seriously, like, they renamed the Saga games on the Game Boy to Final Fantasy Legend. Give us, like, Pixel Remaster that's Final Fantasy whatever, choose a subtitle name. 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Make a new story, like, don't just churn them out. Actually think about them, but that's at a point where you don't have to think about the programming too much. You've got the programming all done. Now this is the time for the story writers to come up with something, the artists to come up with something new. Sure, you can get the programmers to come up with some neat little differences in each game and stuff like that if you want. But the big thing is, like, I think I mean, there is a creative aspect to programming, but it's still very, like, machine. I don't know. It's like machine-like. You've got a goal. You gotta generate the random number to determine whether you hit. Kind of thing. Coming up with those mechanics and stuff like that. But, like, there's a lot of creativity in the story and the art direction. Give me more stuff like that. That's what I want. I want, like, just 3 or 4 games using all of these different engines that I've enjoyed. The Pixel Remaster, HD 2D, Dragon Quest, and Dragon Quest VII Reimagined engine. Give me those. Not like any of you. I mean, like, not like I'm saying these things to the void. It's not like any of these companies are gonna hear me, but I don't know. That's what I would want. Anyway, other things still going on streaming-wise. Of course, Spelljammer is still ongoing on Saturday. I will be, the day this goes up, we'll be having another session of Spelljammer, going right into Zerfall's charity stream. Lego building streams Wednesday and Friday. We're going to be finishing up next Wednesday the Minas Tirith build, which is much larger than my space for showing off what it looks like. So, but I mean, I really do see the Lego streams very much as like a chat and do something kind of thing. Like, we talk about games and pop culture and jokes and stuff like that while I'm building Lego. That's very much what I take from those and what I enjoy about those, while also building a Lego set, which is one of my favorite things to do. Over on Zerfall's channel, we have finished up Illusion City. That's all done. That finished some time ago. We've just barely started a new game, but that hasn't gone live yet. but as soon as it does, you should start seeing them in the feed. Always putting each other as collaborators on those. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But that's what's going on the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying the Let's Plays and streams. Over on my D&D blog, I do have a new deity. Last month I didn't because I had, a whole bunch of health issues, which are, I guess I should mention, talk about that a little bit. Things are getting a lot better. I've been on a medicine that slowly, it's like supposed to take a 6-month process to like stabilize the problems that I've been having, but I'm definitely noticing the changes now. I'm sleeping better. Various other symptoms I was having, like I was having all these symptoms that I thought were just all unrelated, and then it was funny, like I get diagnosed with this thing, and I'm like looking at the list of symptoms, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. Holy cow, this is like everything that I'm dealing with. The one thing that was on the list of symptoms that I don't think that I have is unexplained weight loss. My doctor's like, well, you're down like 4 pounds. I'm like, yeah, that could be water weight. I could fluctuate that much in a week. When I was recording Final Fantasy Tactics Advance 2, I probably lost that much just because I was concentrating so much on the game I didn't eat as much, kind of thing. I need to be down a little bit more than 4 pounds to be to have it qualify for unexpected weight loss. So anyway, it was one of those things where like all of these things turned out to be interconnected, and it was like, wow, I didn't even consider that they might be related. Luckily, they are, and they're beginning to get better. So I'm feeling a lot better now. Which does lead me to Hyperion, the Watcher Above. This is the last of the male titans that I will be doing other than Kronos. Well, okay, not the last. I mean, he's the last of the 12 male... There's 12 titans, 6 male, 6 female. He's the 5th of 6 male titans. So other than Kronos, and I'm going to wait until like the end of all the titans to do Kronos, because that's kind of going to be a lot more. Like, a lot of these guys, there's just like little bits here and there. In fact, like, most of what we know about these titans is that they gave birth to other gods, kind of thing. Like, what do I do with that? So a lot of these are like taking this vague concept, taking what their name means, and thus kind of like teasing out, guessing what they might have conceptually represented, and spinning that into a whole deity. So, like, there's a lot that goes into that, and a lot of thinking about it, trying to tie some threads together. Also, sometimes, like, deciding, okay, which of these contradictory Greek myths apply here? Which do I want to roll with? Which do I want to have apply? Because sometimes they're very contradictory. You can have 3 different parents for some of the deities, kind of thing. It can be complicated. So it's always like trying to decide, all right, which of these are going to be aliases, which of these are going to be, like, this is just a story that's told, which of these are the actual thing that I decide to roll with, that kind of thing. And of course, like, previous D&D material on the Titans is very broad strokes. Like, it has all of them being confined to Tartarus, Carcery, the plane of Carcery, when Okeanos was never considered to have been confined there in Greek mythology. He stayed neutral. Like, I was not finding much, except for stuff like where he wasn't actually a member of the Titans kind of thing, or he was like an earlier generation, things like that, like it gets kind of, like, this is what I'm talking about. It gets really hazy. He's never considered to be, as far as I can tell, at least, never considered to have been confined in Tartarus. And yet the D&D material plainly listed him with all the others because it was just like a single sentence. These are the Titans. This is where they are, kind of thing. So it trying to keep things spiritually and as close to the material as written, while also coming up with new stuff, making them feel unique and individualistic and stuff like that. So I kind of had a feel like I know I'm going to have a lot to write about the the Olympian deities, the Olympians, versus the Titans, but there's going to be a certain element where for a lot of them, it's going to be a lot less complex because all of my work is going to be done already in some aspects. So the Titans are to a degree a little bit more challenging. Anyway, if you like D&D deities, do check it out. I will, of course, include a link in the description below. And, follow along that project. It'll be, ongoing for quite a while, like the Monster Mythology one did, which I do plan to still, like, I need to go through and re-edit them, proofread them again, read them. Some of those are 15 years old. I need to read them with, my mind today versus my mind then. Does this still match what I want to do with them and stuff like that? So, but that's I need more focus. I need time to focus on that, and right now I'm focusing on the Greek deities because they're all like I'm happy with them as they are. I just want to do a review before I decide to like say, okay, now I'm completely done with that project, kind of thing. Anyway, that's that. If you are enjoying the content, the streams, the videos, please do consider supporting me on one of the platforms. We have, of course, Patreon. That is, for me, I think the best way. I understand if that may not be financially viable for people, but there are channel memberships and Twitch subscriptions, especially if you have a Amazon Prime account and you aren't using your Twitch Prime, you haven't connected your accounts, or you're not using the Twitch Prime, please consider throwing that my way. I would really appreciate that, and it's no extra money on your part. I get some money out of it. It really does go a long way to supporting myself or another creator. There's also Ko-fi if you want to support that way. But and of course, like bits during the streams, gift subs, all of these things do support the channel, support me getting new games. Last year I had to get all new hardware. Luckily, it was like right before the big jumps in memory prices. Really, really lucked out there. I don't know how much this computer would cost with all of those price increases, but I got very, very lucky on that timing. So, it pays for that. It pays for other, like if I decide to upgrade my camera, which I'm kind of considering for my Lego streams, all of that comes out of what you guys support me with. Not to mention basic necessities like internet connection and food and stuff like that. I have a car problem that I'm gonna deal with. Took it into the shop, and their ultimate conclusion was wait until it gets worse, so it's easier to figure out what the problem is, because we're gonna have to tear down the engine no matter what. And you're looking at $2,500 to $3,000. So it's basically like wait till it gets worse and more obvious to find what the problem is. So yeah, it was good times. So that's like looming on the horizon now. Very much in the mode of like maybe I should just trade in this car and get a new one. It's still worth more. Like it should be worth more than $3,000 as it is right now. It's low mileage, but uh, is that worth it? I don't know. Um, the other thing, of course, is that if it does get worse, and it's gonna be pretty like it's not gonna be worth as much. I don't know. I need to think about that. But so all those things are like on the horizon. So if you can support me in one of the various ways, Patreon, channel subscription, a Twitch subscription, channel membership here on YouTube, just one-time thing on Ko-fi or bits, that all that, please do consider. It does go a long, long way to ensuring that all of this continues as is, and I continue making videos. I should note that for those on Patreon, I am planning to it is about time for our Patron's Choice. So that is going to be happening this month as well. You can get in on that. That'll be a preliminary vote, a nomination and vote on Patreon, and then the top. I need to double check. Last year, I could only do 4 entries here on YouTube, so it would be the top 4. Prior to that, it was 5. They allowed 5 entries in the polls, so I don't know what it. I don't know if they've changed that again. I need to look at that. But probably top 4. We'll then go on to a completely public poll here on YouTube. So please consider supporting, and that is in the cards for this month over on Patreon. Once again, I want to thank everyone for all of your support. I want to thank everyone for, coming out to the streams, leaving comments, liking the videos. All of that also goes a really long way. More people viewing the streams, more people watching the videos to completion, liking them, leaving a comment. All of that really goes a very long way to ensuring that the channel is a success. Sorry, had a little bit. I will note that subscribership, it was fluctuating for a while. It's on the downslope. We're well under 100 now, and it seems to be staying there. I think I've been kind of monitoring other channels, some of similar size, some larger sizes, and I'm seeing similar declines. At least in terms of percentages on them as well. I'm doing better than some other similarly sized channels that I've looked at, so there's that. But it's still I think it's part of an overall thing. I've been talking about it for a while. YouTube does not like this kind of content. I don't know why not, but they don't. So, it's just one of those things. It's still doing well enough, especially with Patreon. If not for Patreon, if I had to rely on just what was happening on YouTube and Twitch alone, then this would not be viable. Patreon is what makes us viable. So please do consider supporting if you can. But if you can't, please make sure that you're watching the videos and liking them. And if you have something to say, leave a comment. Thank you very much. I do read them all. I want to thank you guys. We will be back with the next update video. And please do also join us for Zerfall's charity stream. See you next time, everyone.